There is breaking news at this hour. A guilty verdict in Hunter Biden's federal gun trial in Wilmington, Delaware. The president's son facing 3 felony counts, accused of lying on a federal form about drug use when he bought a gun in 2018, saying he was not a drug user, and prosecutors arguing he illegally had that gun for 11 days. After deliberating for about an hour on the first day, about
lock him up. Lock him up.
2 hours today, they have found him guilty on all 3 charges. Count 1, making a false statement in the purchase of a firearm. Guilty of count 2, making a false statement related to information required to be kept by a federal licensed firearms dealer. And guilty on count 3, possessing a firearm by a person who is an unlawful user or addicted to a controlled substance. So again, the breaking news at this hour, Hunter Biden found guilty on all 3 felony charges. Let's get right to Terry Moran outside the courthouse. Terry?
That's right, David. You've got it. All 3 counts, guilty as charged. About 3 hours of deliberation. 1 hour yesterday, 2 hours today. The jurors got to work, and they came through with this verdict. Each of these counts required the jurors to take into account what Hunter's defense was here, which was basically that while he had abused drugs, as he confessed in his memoir, Beautiful Things, as the jurors heard plenty of evidence about. At that time, Hunter Biden said he didn't testify, but his lawyer presented evidence that he did not feel that he was actually abusing drugs at that time and therefore was not guilty of these crimes. The jurors rejected that, guilty on all 3 counts. Hunter Biden arrived in court just before the jury was brought in and read the verdict.
Terry, let me ask you about the show of support in the front rows of that.
I think there's nothing funnier than this trial causing Republicans to be like, listen, if you're inebriated, you can't own a gun. Pussy. Federal gun laws are there for good reason. That's right. We need more gun control in this country. I've said this before, but Hunter Biden being prosecuted and being found guilty of a thing that like every Republican has done at a certain point. It might not be crack cocaine, okay? But certainly like certainly either shooting a gun or owning a gun, lying on forms when you are attempting to purchase a gun. Like this is a staple of right-wing fundamentals. This is like if he had also been found guilty of being like a deadbeat dad that doesn't pay child support, this would literally be like the most right-wing thing that you can get caught doing.
Courtroom, as we know, the First Lady, Jill Biden, there supporting her son every day but one in this trial. Multiple members of the family and friends close to Hunter Biden, all there. We know in the closing arguments, the prosecution, well aware of that image right there in front of the jurors, saying of family members, the First Lady, the friends who had gathered. Essentially, that does not matter here.
Biden made an abrupt visit to Delaware to hug Hunter. You can feel the emotion in this photo taken this afternoon. On a human level, the conviction is his only surviving son. Has to be gutting for Joe Biden. Jesus Christ. Aaron loves Brandon so much. It is like, oh my God, dude. You can feel the emotion. It's like, yeah, dude, he's a dad. Like he probably doesn't love the idea that his son is going to go to jail. It's his turn, Hunter for president. I agree. I think Hunter Biden should run from prison.
That's exactly what they said, David. None of that matters. Pointing at the Biden family, at the First Lady, who was here almost every day, took a whirlwind trip to France to join the president for the D-Day commemorations, and came right back to be with her son. And
did he get convicted of doing drugs? No, he fucking wrote about it in his memoir. He wrote about doing drugs in his memoir while he simultaneously was like getting a gun, and lied about it while getting a fucking gun. So yeah, no shit. Now let's be real. This would not be happening if Hunter Biden wasn't Joseph Robinette Biden's son, or if Joseph Robinette Biden hadn't been the president, okay? Ultimately, though, lock him up, I say.
Yet it was part of the closing argument of prosecutors there. Prosecutors saying no one is above the law, no matter what their name is, no matter who is in court.
And Terry, the defense, Hunter Biden's defense team, had tried to argue in closing arguments that the prosecution,
Yeah, there are also photos where he smokes crack and then flags people with a gun. So cool.
while they had ample evidence that Hunter Biden was a drug user, that the window of time
Yeah, false statement in the purchase of a firearm, false statement related to the information required to be kept by federal firearms licensed dealer, count 3, possession of a firearm by a person who's an unlawful user of or addicted to a controlled substance.
directly surrounding the purchase of the gun. The defense had argued the prosecution had not made the case that he was using drugs in that, that window of time, that very small window of time, but apparently the jury didn't buy that.
They didn't buy it, and in part, David, because of the law that the judge read to them. The judge, as is customary, as is part of the process, reads the jurors the law that they will apply to the facts that they heard in this case. And part of that law was that drug use for the purpose of this law did not have to occur on the day that Hunter Biden bought the weapon. And
I think there is no funnier karmic justice for a man who has literally done so much to, one, criminalize drug addiction, and two, create an infinitely worse penal punishment structure for specifically the American black and brown population than having your own only remaining son who hasn't fucking died go to prison for those two things being violated here. Okay? It's just like, I am a big Hunter Biden fan. As you guys know, he is a big hog. He wants strippers to unionize. He's being punished for those things, for the record. He's being punished for being awesome and having a big old dick. And also being Joe Biden's son. But, it is a little bit of a karmic justice there, isn't it?
and check that federal form, that it could be evidence of a pattern of drug abuse or drug addiction around that. And that certainly was clear in this case. So the defense was fighting an uphill battle, not only really against the facts, but against the law as the judge gave it to the jurors here. Now, I should say that in court, the defense, as is customary, right after the conviction was announced, renewed an appeal for an acquittal from the judge in order to preserve an appeal, and gave notice essentially that they will appeal this case.
So what happens now, Terry, legally to Hunter Biden?
This free Hunter Biden walkout Friday, June 14th, 1:30 p.m. Spread the message. That's what happens to Hunter. We're doing a walkout, folks. The power move is Trump becoming president, then he pardons Hunter Biden. Yeah, that's not going to happen. He will definitely he'll throw fucking Joe Biden's bitch ass in prison too.
Sentencing next. And these are very serious federal crimes. These are crimes that carry very heavy prison sentences, 10 years each for the false statement and 5 years for the illegal possession of the weapon. Now, that is highly unlikely to be applied to Hunter Biden, anything like that in this case. Experts tell us that for a first offender like him, someone who did not use the gun at all, he just kind of bought it and stuck it in his car, there's no evidence that he was going to use it in any kind of a crime. It would be highly unlikely for Hunter Biden to see prison time. But these are, as I say, very serious charges.
No, lock him up. 25 years, baby. 25 fucking years, okay? He needs to spend the rest of his life behind bars.
And it may well be that prosecutors will ask for some prison time, given the nature of the charges and given what others might face.
Back to you with this news.
Send his ass. Send his ass to Gitmo.
Still breaking, Hunter Biden found guilty on all charges in his federal case over misleading on a gun form. It's big news. It's big news for the man sitting in the Oval Office, the President of the United States, Joe Biden, his father. And with that, we'll bring in White House correspondent Jillian Turner. She's at the White House. What's happening there, Jillian?
Hi, Kaylee. Well, President Biden, as you mentioned,
Dude, this is so funny. They're literally doing the same thing that CNN and MSNBC was doing for the Trump trial. Bro, look at this. Yo, I love this country. We are so fucking stupid, bro. They are doing the exact same thing MSNBC was doing. Now, obviously, with like Trump, he was the former president. Like, with Hunter Biden, it's the president's son. It's a little different, but, He's really about to go to prison for this shit. It'd be really funny if he did. Lock him up. That's what I say.
Is here at the White House. We are actually expecting to hear from him, see him publicly on camera at 1:30 when he is headlining a gun violence.
Dude, this is awesome. Like pure resentment, pure party resentment is going to cause the motherfucking criminal justice system to start like addressing criminals on either side of the political spectrum for just pure resentment against the other side. Like, can you imagine we just start arresting CEOs and shit? When the Republicans are in power, Democrat CEOs go to jail. When Democrats are in power, Republican CEOs go to jail. Like, fuck. Don't threaten me with a good time, man. I'm fucking on board with this shit. From prison abolitionist to capital punishment in 1 week. It's funny that Biden spoke at a gun safety conference after the verdict. Yeah. I mean, Hunter is kind of harshing his vibes a little bit. His pappy's vibes. Like, dude, what the fuck? U.S. President Joe Biden just threatened his citizens with the use of F-15s.
They want to take on government if we get out of line, which they're talking again about. Well, guess what? They need F-15s. They don't need a rifle.
U.S. President Joe Biden just threatened his citizens with the use of F-15s. I mean, he's right. Like, that's basically a meme. Maybe he didn't even do a good job of saying what he was trying to say, but he ain't wrong. You got F-15s? No? Then shut the fuck up about rising up against the tyrannical government, bitch. The government is tyrannical already, dumbass. Fuck you mean? Have you... I haven't seen your ass rising up. Can't even rise up against the top of the hour ad break. Which you don't need an F-15 for, to be fair. All you need is a $5 a month subscription or a free one in the form of a Twitch Prime. That's how you can rise up against the top of the hour ad break and defeat it. And no longer see those ads. Here's the 3-minute ad break now.
Prevention event, big event across
Park and watch.
town.
Thank you for the
So we
5.
are
Get the subs.
anticipating there is at least a chance he may address the verdict just handed down to his son. In the interim, we have a brand new statement issued by Ian Sams on behalf of the president himself. It says, as I said last week, I am the president, but I am also a dad. Jill and I love our son, and we are so proud of the man he is today. So many families who have had loved ones battle addiction understand the feeling of pride seeing someone you love come out the other side and be so strong and resilient in recovery. As I also said last week, I will accept the outcome of this case and will continue to respect the judicial process as Hunter considers an appeal. Jill and I will always be there for Hunter and the rest of our family with our love and support. Nothing will ever change that. It's notable, Kaylee, that in one breath in this statement, the president says he respects essentially the outcome in this case and then mentions the fact that Hunter's team is considering an appeal. It's also interesting that they mention an appeal at all at this particular moment, given we have not heard that from Hunter's own defense team. So it would seem that the White House is the first to put out an official comment confirming that Hunter is at least considering appealing the decision here. We have heard from the president at a couple of key moments on his son in the past. You may remember very famously back in 2020, he told Peter Doocy that his son had done nothing wrong. We have heard a couple of times in the last few months from Karine Jean-Pierre in the White House press briefing that the president has no plans to pardon his son. Nobody at the White House has just commented on record as to whether or not the president may consider commuting his son's sentence, something that we are now sort of standing by to try and learn as quickly.
Yeah, the reason why this is pretty funny is because, but surely, Hasan, unlike Trump's situation, this can happen to anyone. This is an edge case, right? No, that's the funniest part. This literally could happen to many Republicans. So, like, many Republicans are not going to be running for president and simultaneously trying to pay hush money to a porn star that they had sex with, okay? Because they feel like the porn star is going to come out and it's going to hurt their chances of being elected. But almost every one of the Republicans celebrating this shit could also be swept away under identical terms. Like the Trump thing, they're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I'm just in the way is bullshit. But for the Hunter Biden situation, the people, be careful what you wish for, man. You wouldn't want that shit coming after you, big dog. Oh my God, dude. American prison population would increase so dramatically. What were the charges? Lying on a fucking federal gun, lying on a gun purchasing form and being in possession of a weapon while being addicted to or using a substance that is illegal. Matt Gaetz agreed with you. The Hunter Biden gun conviction is kind of dumb, to be honest. Oh my God. But dude, Trump literally arred a woman, supposedly another one that was a minor at the time. Yeah, but those things are not prosecuted in this situation. Trump is not convicted or guilty of that, at least in a criminal court. That would be something that threatens Republicans in general and could happen to Republicans as well.
Quickly as possible here. So again, we're probably going to be hearing from the president in about an hour from now if he is running on schedule. He is going to be speaking here in D.C. at a national gun violence prevention event. We will be keeping a close eye on that to see whether he addresses this verdict himself. We also have the White House press briefing coming up at 2:30. We anticipate a lot of questions at the podium from Karine today about this verdict. Back to you, Kaylee.
Will the president commute Hunter's sentence? That is a great question for the White House briefing rooms. We will see if it is asked. Judge, you mentioned, we heard appeal there, and Julian highlighted the president's mentioning appeal, but you note some of these grounds of appeal have already been tried and rejected.
Well, one of the things that Hunter did was in December of this year, his lawyers filed a motion arguing that the gun case charge should be dismissed because possession of a firearm by a controlled substance addict is unconstitutional under the Second Amendment, citing that 2022 Supreme Court case, which, of course, is the New York Bruin case. And the Third Circuit denied that. Now, whether or not the Supreme Court this year comes out and says, we're going to take a look at that and decide whether or not something is rooted in history and tradition, which is a basis to continue it as a constitutional right, it exists there. But as Jonathan Turley said, and I think that we need to remember this, because going forward, everyone's going to say the Supreme Court still hasn't ruled on whether a drug addict can have a gun. This guy has been convicted of lying on a federal ATF.
Dude, there's nothing. Dude, this is so funny. Yo, she's literally, you are nailing so many of your watchers right now. It's fucking nutty how you cannot lie on a federal form when purchasing a weapon. Yo, that's so sick. That's funny as fuck. It's like, dude, if this was a Republican being convicted under similar charges, they'd be like, the communist Biden regime is coming after all of your weapons. They want to kill you. They want you unarmed, waiting with a butter knife to be raped by migrant roving bands of criminals. When it's Hunter Biden, they're like, yeah, we have to kill him. Capital punishment is the only way that this freak will make sure that he is not a harm to the broader public. He has lied one time. He can lie again. Last week, they were talking about our prisons obsolete. Last week, they were talking about Angela Davis ass shit. Like, oh, well, should we even? What are crimes anyway? What are crimes anyway, Really? I'm asking seriously. Why could we limit the freedoms of a human being, another human being? Are we God? It goes against the very nature of man to be shackled in this way. We have to free everyone from prison. And now Hunter Biden, now it's the Hunter Biden trial, and they're like, we need to kill him.
Form. So whether or not the Supreme Court goes forward and says, you know, we're going to give everybody the right to have a gun, even a drug addict, which I find a little hard to buy right now, he still is different from the normal category of individual.
Yeah, the funny thing about what Judge Janine just said about SCOTUS isn't taking up the issue about whether a drug addict can own a gun. They are taking up the issue as to whether a convicted domestic abuser can. Yeah, that is currently something that the Supreme Court is looking at. And very likely their answer is going to be the Second Amendment is more powerful than restricting arms sales to convicted domestic abusers. And another funny aspect, I thought the judicial system was rigged. What happened? Well, sometimes it's good because it punishes our enemies.
So he is a convicted felon who has lied for that purpose.
You know, Kevin, we are less than 1 hour from President Biden giving remarks. Again, about an hour from when he learned his son is convicted. Take us, you've been in Biden world. What is happening now?
Well, certainly, I think the president is feeling the anguish right now of this decision, and we talked about this during the break. That this is a father that's worried about his son and relapsing, but he's also a president of the United States who has focused for a number of years, going back to his time in the Senate, on passing legislation that's going to stop gun violence in the streets, restrict the size of magazines, some of these assault weapons that are out there. So I think you can have two of these things be happening at the same time: a love of a father, a support of a father, a worry of a father. Hallie Biden threw out that gun not because she was worried about Hunter, using it in violence. She was worried about him taking his own life. And that now there are more gun deaths by suicide in this country.
Bro, these are my lines. I say these words, not you. You're Fox News. Hello? Excuse me? What is happening right now? Oh my God. I'm fucking losing my mind right now. What the fuck? Yo! We are a nation of laws and order, and we need gun control now. Gun violence is not simply a matter of violence that happens on the streets. Gun violence can also be accurately pointed to with our high suicide rate is not a thing that I would ever hear from anyone on Fox News. They stole my flow bar for bar. What the fuck is going on, dude? Maybe the MAGA conservatives are right, dude. They're woke. These guys are woke now.
Then by murder for the first time in a long time. So I think you can still see the White House talking about the scourge of gun violence now with this as the backdrop.
So, Kevin, how do you know that? Because when Hallie Biden both testified and the Washington Post did a really deep dive, she was looking for drug paraphernalia when she went through that truck. And she was shocked to find a gun and just knew it was trouble. And when you look at their text messages, she's not saying, I threw it away because I thought you'd kill yourself. She said, you need to get to rehab. And he said, this is not a game. Tell me where you hid it. And, of course, she'd taken it to a grocery store shopping center and put it in a trash bin. So I've not heard what you just said.
Wait, that's how she disposed of the gun? That's how she disposed of the gun? By putting it in a grocery store trash bin? Are you fucking insane? Bro, what the fuck is happening, dude? These people are crazy. Dude, Americans are so broken. I swear to gun. I swear to gun. Oh my God, I'm so American. I said, I swear to gun. Bro, this is not a fucking toy, okay? You can't just dispose of this by throwing it in the fucking trash, brother. What the fuck? Yo. That is crazy, bro. That is fucking crazy. Free gun, baby. Widow of Beau Biden tells jurors in Hunter Biden's gun trial that she threw firearm in a trash can. The widow of Hunter Biden's brother has just told jurors in his federal gun charge about the moment she found the revolver in his truck. The purge of the Colt revolver by Hunter Biden and Hallie Biden's frenzied disposal of it are the fulcrum of the case against him. He's been charged with 3 felonies, lying to a federally licensed gun dealer, making a false claim on the application by saying he was not a drug user, and illegally having the gun for 11 days. Wait, didn't Hunter Biden smash his brother's widow? Yes, that's the godly thing to do. I don't understand why you guys are upset that Hunter Biden nutted inside of his fucking brother's widow, okay? His dead brother's wife. That is literally in the Bible, bro. That's not even a joke. That is straight up biblical shit, okay? Yeah, Onan got, is it Onan? I forget what the dude's name is, but he got smited by God for not nutting in his dead brother's wife. Like, you can't even pull and pray. You can't even pull out. You have to nut inside of her. You have to fuck her and you have to nut inside of your dead brother's wife, like straight up. God will punish you if you do not nut inside. You have to literally hold on for dear life. A lot of people dispose of guns that way. It seems pretty normal. Dude, this guy, I always look for this person's chats to come up with the absolute stupidest question. Okay? One of my favorite chatters. A lot of people dispose of guns that way. It seems pretty normal as long as the gun has no ammo in it, Hasan. Dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? You could just go purchase ammo and now you have a fully loaded gun, free gun. What state are you talking about? Maybe California is different. How about, oh my God, of course you're in Ohio. Bro. This is worse than throwing it in the river, okay? Even that is a bad way to dispose of a gun. But I cannot believe I am now in favor of at least telling people to throw the gun in the river as opposed to putting it in the trash bin where someone can easily find it. I never thought throwing a gun in the river would be a better way to dispose of a gun. What should you do if you have a gun you don't want? Take it to the fucking law enforcement authorities. What the fuck do you mean? How are you in possession of a gun you don't want? Take it to the fucking police, man. What are you doing? No, here's what you're supposed to do, okay? You see the serial number here? You just scratch it out, okay? You take one of those, like, you take a hard object and you scratch out the serial number, okay? Then you post it on the Facebook Marketplace. You post it on the Facebook Marketplace as, hey, I found this thing. I don't know if it's a toy or not. And if that doesn't work, you really trust the cops? What are you saying? This is one of the few instances where law enforcement is, yes, where you are supposed to take the weapon. What good is police? What the fuck? I'm from Ohio. This is not a good counter. Don't actually scratch out the serial number because you will go to jail for tampering with a firearm serial number. Yes, I'm obviously joking. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. If you find a gun, you have to call law enforcement and you have to tell them that you found a gun. Okay? What the fuck? Motherfuckers be like, wow, now you trust the police. What about, oh wow, you mean to tell me that police have buyback plans? Where there's like gun buyback schemes where I could just like take the gun there and they give me money? I don't trust them. Why are we arming the police, Hasan? Yeah, Ohio is a PvP unlocked state, okay? Guns are free in rivers.
Ooh, looks like something.